We are very, very seriously starting to consider leaving the United States, and I just want to hear from someone who's done it. Where did you go? How did you decide that's where you're going? How did you get a visa? Do all of that? Just, I'm definitely researching on my own, but if there was someone I could connect with who's done this before, I just would love to utilize you as a resource. And yeah, if we can help one another, please.
In recent years, a growing number of Americans have made the decision to leave the United States, not just for travel or work, but for good. While there are many factors that contribute to this trend, two key issues continue to rise to the forefront: the rising cost of living and growing concerns about the scope and influence of presidential power. From sky-high rents in major cities to ballooning healthcare costs, the cost of living in the U.S. has become increasingly unsustainable for many. Basic necessities like housing, food, and education have seen price hikes that far outpace wage growth. For middle and lower-income Americans, the dream of financial stability feels increasingly out of reach. Housing, in places like California, New York, and even parts of Texas and Florida, median rent prices have surged beyond what many can afford, pushing people to seek more affordable lifestyles abroad. Healthcare, the U.S. remains one of the most expensive countries in the world for healthcare, even with insurance. Medical emergencies or chronic conditions can lead to financial ruin. Education and debt. Student debt burdens continue to weigh heavily on younger generations, often delaying homeownership, savings, or even family planning. Countries like Portugal, Mexico, Thailand, and Costa Rica have become attractive alternatives, offering lower living costs, access to public health care, and a slower pace of life without sacrificing modern comforts. The growing influence of the presidency, regardless of political party, has also raised alarms. Many Americans feel increasingly disconnected from the direction of their country, with each administration wielding executive power in ways that seem to bypass checks and balances. Polarization. The deepening political divide has made governance feel more like a tug-of-war than a democratic process. Many Americans are exhausted by the constant turmoil and fear the consequences of whichever side gains or loses power.
Leave the United States for at least 1 or 2 years. That is the best advice I could give any young person. Because when you go, you will see a whole new world. You'll learn another language. You will find out that there's so much of the shit that goes on in this country is just fake. You will cure yourself from toxic people, toxic food. I guarantee you after a month, you won't even think about this place. And if you decide to come back, you will dominate just like the immigrants do that come over here. Because all the opportunities that were in front of you that you just didn't see, they will be blaring at you in the face. Leave the country. Go experience another culture, learn another language. You will learn more about life. You will learn more about yourself doing that than you will spending 20 years in college. It is the greatest gift you will ever give yourself.
Many Americans feel increasingly disconnected from the direction of their country, with each administration wielding executive power in ways that seem to bypass checks and balances. Polarization. The deepening political divide has made governance feel more like a tug-of-war than a democratic process. Many Americans are exhausted by the constant turmoil and fear the consequences of whichever side gains or loses power. Surveillance and control. Concerns about government overreach, data collection, and the militarization of domestic policy have added to a sense of unease. Instability. With each presidential election, a new set of sweeping changes rolls in. For those seeking stability, the United States can feel increasingly volatile and unpredictable. The result is a noticeable uptick in Americans exploring second passports, digital nomad visas, and permanent relocations. While many are not necessarily fleeing the U.S. in a dramatic fashion, they're making thoughtful, long-term decisions about where they feel they can build a better future. For some, it's about freedom, not in the patriotic sense, but in the everyday choices. The freedom to afford healthcare, to live without constant financial anxiety, or to avoid the influence of an increasingly polarized political system.
Take out a loan, get a couple credit cards, get a passport, get the fuck out. and get the fuck out and figure it out when you get in that other country. The credit score they don't count the credit score in other countries. Take out the biggest loan you can. Take out a couple loans. Do them all at the same time so you can do them in 30 days. They all hit the credit report at the same time. They'll probably freeze your credit cards if you don't make the payment. If you can't afford to make a payment, don't worry about the credit cards. Take out a couple loans and get the fuck out. Cause that's the quickest route. That's the quickest route to escape this shit. I'm dead ass serious. When I tell you we'll find a job and figure it out, the loan money you have to carry. Thailand, the rent is $200 a month. I'm sure if you can get 5 to 10K, you'll be good for at least 3 months. I know this sounds crazy. I don't mean to be like gaslighting people and getting people riled up, but these are things that I'm actually considering. I'm just saying.
I asked ChatGPT where I should move because I no longer want to live in the United States of America, and this is what they said. First of all, I told ChatGPT that I was looking for a safe place to live, good education, family values, slower pace of life, car not necessary, open-mindedness, and to consider the fact that I only speak English, but I am willing to learn another language. And this is what they said. Finland, number 1. Number 2, the Netherlands. 3, Portugal. 4, Denmark. 5, New Zealand. And I'll go over these options with you guys in the next video.
I have been struggling to survive in the United States my entire life. And in 30 days, I finally get the opportunity to leave. Probably for good. For as long as I can remember, I have been fighting just to survive. I've worked jobs that barely pay enough to live. I've stretched every dollar that I have, constantly feeling like no matter how hard I try, I'm always one emergency away from losing everything. And I have had that emergency happen multiple times and lost everything. And now I have a baby. And the idea of raising him in this system literally keeps me up at night. I don't want him growing up watching me struggle. I don't want him to think that exhaustion, fear, and survival mode are just a part of life. I want him to know something different, something better. And that's why we're leaving. In 30 days, we're moving to Costa Rica. Not because it's some fantasy escape, but because life there makes sense. Rent is cheaper, food is fresh and local, healthcare is universal, people actually slow down and live, and most importantly, I'll finally have time just to be with my child without feeling guilty about it. I know I'm not the only one feeling like this. Have you thought about leaving? What's stopping you? I'm going to document this entire journey, from packing up our life to what it's really like to live there. If you ever wondered if there's another way to live, stick around because I'm about to find out.
So I don't know what to do. I really badly want to leave the United States. I would be gone tomorrow if I could make it happen. And my husband doesn't. He thinks that someone's going to save us. He thinks Congress or checks and balances or Democrats or someone is not going to let the worst happen. And I don't know how many other ways to try and convince him. I don't think that's going to happen. I want better for us. I want better for our kids. I want them to have a worldly, cultured childhood, and I want them to grow up in a better place than this. This is not a good life. And he's an engineer. I'm a nurse. We don't make a ton, but we're fine. But not here. This sucks. How do I get him on board with moving away from the United States?
I'm an American that lives abroad, and I'm here to tell you that you can do it too. I left the States about 2.5 years ago, and I used to live in Japan, in Tokyo, and now I live in Shanghai, in China. And the quality of my life has skyrocketed. My professional opportunities, my income, my mental health, my physical health, and the way that I move through the world has completely changed in so many better ways since I left America. America's in a really tough spot right now, as we know, and it's not looking good. As a lot of people are starting to research and learn more and travel more, they're starting to realize the way that people live in other countries. In Japan, in China, in a lot of places in Asia, in Europe, in South America. There are hundreds of millions of people living better lives than you currently are in America, and it's really hard to hear that, but it's true. And I am somebody that has actually made the jump and gone to another place, got rid of all my stuff in America, decided that I probably aren't going back, and it was the best decision I ever made. So you may think that it's difficult and impossible. It is not. Anything that is worth it is challenging, but can be the most consequential decision that you ever make in your life. And so many people all over the world have left America and have built beautiful, healthy, happy lives in so many other places. I found a life for me in Asia, and you can find somewhere in a lot of other places based on your preferences, the type of people you want to be around, the opportunities you want to pursue, etc., etc. So it is possible. I genuinely want you to believe that you can do it if it's something that you are interested in. And a lot of people are interested, and it's really, really great. So I hope you consider it.
So, whether it's the crushing weight of rent, the ever-growing price of a gallon of milk, or the feeling that presidential power has become a Game of Thrones, more and more Americans are saying, enough is enough. They're packing their bags, trading fast food for fresh fruit, and chasing sunsets in places where freedom doesn't come with a $3,000 a month price tag. Because sometimes the American dream has to be chased somewhere else. For more bold takes, global stories, and a fresh perspective on the state of the world, don't just follow the headlines, orbit them. This is Orbit Point. Stay curious, stay informed, and hey, maybe keep your passport up to date. You never know.